Good morning, all. Today we shall discuss the types of chemical reactions. The elements compounds interact during a chemical reaction to form new compounds. During a chemical reaction, usually the bonds between the atoms in the reactants are broken and the new bonds are formed to form products. For our convenience, we'll discuss the two types of bonds: ionic or electrovalent bonds and covalent bonds. Ionic bond. Ionic bond are formed by the giving and taking of electrons, leading to formation of ions. The positively charged ions are called cations and the negatively charged ions are called anions. So a force of attraction is developed between the oppositely charged ions, which holds the atoms in a compound together, is called ionic bond or electrovalent bond. Let us come to one example. Formation of sodium chloride. We know that sodium is having 11 electrons. Chlorine is having 17 electrons. As we know that sodium is having 11 atomic number and chlorine is having 17 chlorine atomic number. If we go for electronic configuration, in case of sodium, it will have 2, 8 and 1, means 2 in the innermost orbit, then 8 electrons, then 1 electron. And in case of chlorine, will be having 2, 8, 7. There is a rule called octet rule, means the atoms want to have 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. So sodium will try to have 2 8 electrons and chlorine will try to have 2 8 electrons. So sodium will try to give its electron. So sodium will give its electron to become Na plus electron. Now this chlorine atom will accept the electron to form Cl minus. This Na plus is cation, Cl minus is anion. Na plus and Cl minus will try to attract each other and a bond between them is formed, and that bond is called ionic bond. This force of attraction we can tell, and this is called ionic bond or electrovalent bond. Similarly, there is another bond called covalent bond, and covalent bond is formed by sharing of electrons between the atoms. Let us see the example. Carbon is having 6 electrons, so its configuration can be written as 2 and 4. Now hydrogen is having 1 electron, so it is having 1 electron in the first orbit. carbon will want to have 8 electrons in the outermost orbit, and the hydrogen will want to have 2 electrons in the outermost orbit. Here we can clearly see that none of the atoms is able to give their electrons. In a special case, they will share electrons. We will have now one diagram. Carbon, hydrogen, this one hydrogen, and here another hydrogen. You see one electron, one electron, one electron, and one electron. Carbon is having 4 electrons outside. Now hydrogen is having 1 electron, and 1 electron. This carbon will share its electrons with hydrogen, and the hydrogen also will share the electrons with the carbon. So that now we find the carbon is having 8 electrons. So it is, after sharing, it is having 8 electrons, and each hydrogen is having 2 electrons. So you can clearly see that they have shared their electrons, and now they have electron saturation. Means carbon is having 8 electrons, each hydrogen is having 2 electrons. It is otherwise written as C hydrogen, this side hydrogen, and this side hydrogen. This is CH4. Now it can be represented as C, hydrogen in 4 sides. The dash or the lines represent the covalent bond. This is our CH4, and it is called as methane. The name is methane. So we have little bit idea about ionic bond and covalent bond. So during one chemical reaction, the ionic bonds or the covalent bonds which are present in the reactants, means between the atoms of the reactants, they go for breakage, and new bonds are formed between the new atoms or different atoms to form the products. Accordingly, we are having the 5 different types of chemical reactions. This first one is combination reaction, second one is decomposition reaction, third one is displacement reaction, fourth one is double displacement reaction, fifth is oxidation and reduction. We will discuss about all the 5 different type of reactions in the next video. Thank you. Have a good day. Please like and subscribe the channel. Thank you again.